Eric, who are you?
What are you doing on this
Hey, man.
podcast, Eric?
Just wait to see what's in store. But I've heard that one before. Though I don't see all the time I've wasted coming back to me. These insecurities will rise with all the worries of what you never told me. Just goes to show all the worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. The worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. Face so well. We're waiting on ourselves to bloom and finding that there's no room for treating yourself badly. But the mirror's laughing back at me. These insecurities will rot with all the worries of what you never told me. Just goes to show all the worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. The worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. The worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. The worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. Face so well. And with my last reason to stay, stage dressing dropping in its way. Sunflower left to turn and fade. The burning into a new all the worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. The worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. The worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. The worry on your mind can erase all the problems that you face so well. Face so well. That you face so
Okay, let's get started. Hi, everyone. I'm Jess with Ska Talk with Ska Gazine. I am here for the first band we're having back since our break for This Is Not Croydon Fest.
Are you going to introduce me and Ryan?
I'm getting there.
Are you sure?
Eric,
Because I
you
felt
are
like you were
bossy
moving
tonight.
I felt like you were moving. Raise your
Not
hand. if you
even
thought she was
married.
moving.
I know.
Not even
We're not
married.
brother and sister either.
Crazy.
Anyway,
Hi, I'm Eric.
I'm
I'm
Ryan.
getting there. Oh my gosh, you guys. Telling you.
We're on the podcast with Jess.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
And you just made that super awkward. Anyway, this is Eric and Ryan, as you know, and we are having Flying Raccoon Suit on tonight as the first band back since our break from This Is Not Croydon Fest. We had 4 weeks worth of content. We still haven't put it all out. I plan on dropping it within the next couple days so that we can drop this next week. So stay tuned for that. Do you guys want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do in the band?
I don't do anything in the band. I'm a podcast.
Jessica, I do vocals and melodic.
Uh-oh. It was kind of breaking up on my...
Breaking up?
Yeah.
She's gone.
That was more
This
than
isn't
a
working.
movement.
That was Jessica, and she said she does vocals. And I also feel like she said something else after that.
Vocals and melodica.
All right.
I'm Andrew. I play guitar and do other vocals, and I record the trombone on our albums.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us.
For sure. Thanks for having us.
We like to try to break the ice by playing a quick game real quick. Do you guys like games?
Yeah, let's do it.
I said you got games on your phone. I'm just joking.
I got games in my head.
Yeah, Lord.
We renamed the game to Ska categories, and it has nothing to do with categories. We just like ska puns, and it sounded good, so we called
Heck
it
yeah.
that. We're really just going to ask some speed questions to kind of break the ice. So the first one is, and you can answer in any order you want. You could both answer. If you could be any other place right now, where would it be?
Oh,
Oh,
any other
wow.
place?
Any other place?
I would be
Any
on
other-
tour, if that counts as a place.
Yeah, but like where?
I would be we have let's say like Idaho, because we've
Okay.
never been, and there's always like an aggressive commenter that's like, why aren't you playing Montana? I'm like, but I think we haven't
I
been
don't
to
think we've
Idaho.
done Iowa yet. I think someone asked for Iowa.
Iowa, we
Did you
get
say-
Iowa from one person like every time we share a show.
And you haven't played there.
Let's say Iowa for that
Is
person.
there a market there for ska?
Probably not.
There's at least one person, though, you're saying, who wants a ska show.
Yeah, that person though.
Yeah, there's at least one, so we know we'll sell a ticket.
There you go.
Is
And
it
where are you
Punks
at
on
now?
66 out that way?
Which one?
Punks on 66?
Ooh, I don't know that one either.
I think that
Is,
Why do I
is
think
that
they're in
Iowa
Denver?
area?
are they? I thought they were in Denver or close to Denver. I could be wrong.
I think it was
Is that
more
Mike?
Pennsylvania. Yes.
He seems to be at shows in Denver a lot.
Yeah, that's right. That's where I met him at. Was at Punk and Drublick.
Unless that's just the closest place that has shows to him. I don't know. It's possible.
What about you, Jess?
Okay, wow. I want to go back to Canada because that was fun.
Don't
Canada.
want to go to Canada.
Did you play in Canada or were you just visiting there?
We played in Canada with Joystick. We did a little run with Joystick.
Yeah, it was cool. Them and the Filthy Radicals. And we did some sightseeing. Like, our drummer's a huge fan of Rush and found out one of their album covers was taken up there and stuff like that.
I think he
Oh.
walked like 2.5 hours to get there.
Wow.
We loaded in. Yeah, him and our sax player walked a long way and made it right back for like the show start.
Is that all through like Ontario area?
Ontario, Ottawa,
Montreal.
Montreal.
Oshawa.
There was something with like a English name. Oh, London. Played London.
The most normal one.
Right.
Speaking of Rush, you brought up Rush. Somebody loves them, I take it. Who is your dream collab with? Who do you want to make music with?
For listeners of this audio podcast, I'm pointing at my shirt, which says MU330. That would be my go-to.
Amazingly good choice.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Huge goal there.
Nice.
Yeah, we've covered them and stuff, and we tried to. I think I tried to shoot my shot at one point because Bad Time Records does the like Wave Breaker series where they would get like a more legacy band with a newer band, and I was like, hey, what if? And I think I sent Dan P some messages and stuff, and I think they just don't play a lot anymore. But when we
Right.
played in St. Louis, they're such a sweet band. Like, their bass player showed up and watched us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Me and
we
Duck
played
with
with
him.
Orange Tree in St. Louis.
Yeah, we're about to play with them again in July.
This is for the Ningwood Records Festival.
Yeah, it's their second
Okay.
year.
We had Tim on for a live interview a couple weeks back. So
great.
we talked about the festival and y'all playing and Joystick and who else is playing? I forget.
On our night, it's Stuck Lucky, and
Oh, right.
the night before, that's Hot Rails, Secret Cajun Band, and I forget the other two. Maybe Scapository, I forget.
Oh, yes. Compository's fun.
Yeah.
You're raising your hand, Eric.
I am. I am.
What's up?
Can I ask the question?
Sure.
Okay, you good with that? I'm not interrupting and
Is
throwing.
it a categories question?
It is.
Okay.
It's not about farm animals either.
Oh, good.
It will not be. So what
Kind of
is
interested now, though.
this is one of I mean, I ask this question almost all the time, so it's not a surprise, but what was the first album that you fell in love with that like made you a lover of music? Like what was that album when you were younger that you listened to and were like, wow, music is something to me now?
Okay, this is gonna sound really, oh man, dorky. Please don't judge me. Oh my god, In the Airplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel.
I love that one. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one that you and I bonded over, and that's how we became friends. It was Modest Mouse and Neutral Milk Hotel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, before we were ever like in a band together, I know we would like I'd play acoustic guitar and she would like sing and we'd play different songs and stuff. I think it was probably like a pop punk band on early for me. Like I remember um this sounds dark, but I don't mean it that way, but I got a copy of Green Day's Nimrod because my family needed it to play the Time of Your Life song at a cousin's funeral. And they didn't like Green Day or the rest of it, and they were kind of offended that the song they played for the funeral was called Good Riddance. So I just ended up with that CD afterwards, and
Nice.
I played a ton of it on loop, and yeah, probably went from there.
Awesome.
So the two of you grew up near each other and were friends young? Or
Yeah, we met in like French class in high school.
oh,
Right.
cool.
Yeah, yep.
How did the rest of you come together and form a band?
Oh God.
Okay. I moved to Mississippi like right before Hurricane Katrina in 2005, and like I had met Curly like around that time because we both like came to Mississippi like around the same time from the same place, and I met Andy the year later, like a year later, we became friends, and then a few years later, we just reconnected as friends and started hanging out and making music together. And then they asked me to be a guest at a show, and it was with the Night Gaunts and Days in New Orleans.
Oh.
And then that night he asked me to just be a permanent member, and I was like, okay, yeah, I would love that actually.
That's when we got way better. I think we got her, and then like the next show we got Nevin, and then Brandon, and like solidified the lineup. But early on, we were like we the early version of the band started in high school, even though it's not anything it sounds like now. But we were obviously like crappy garage band and stuff. And me and Guillermo, who's still our sax player, and Josh, who was our bass player up until this album, and a couple other folks. Uh, we started because of like a high school talent show. We played that, and we weren't even like ska then because they only let you like sign up a max number of 5 people. We couldn't include any of our horn players and stuff. But we did the local band thing for a while, trying to learn how to play our instruments and mostly just hanging out as friends and not being very productive. And then we kind of slowed down and stopped when we got to the age that people start moving away or going to college or things like that. And then yeah, a couple of years after we sort of stopped doing stuff, we restarted with Jessica at that show that she said. And now this is the real version of the band, I feel like.
There you go.
Nice.
What it was always
I-
meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I can't imagine where you would come up with such a name from. What is the significance of that to your band? Why did you choose it?
oh God. I used to not like it, but now I like it. So at the same period, like we were real young and we didn't have a name for our band, and our original bass player, Josh, who we're still super good friends with, saw I was wearing like a Hot Topic t-shirt with the Raccoon Mario on it and was like, how about Flying Raccoon Suit? And who would have thought that now we would be in our 30s called Flying
Yeah,
Raccoon.
like I'm just be glad it was that shirt and not like I don't know any
It
other.
could be
I don't
worse.
know. It could be way worse.
Could
I
it
do
be
like
like
it
a
now, though.
Heathcliff shirt? Do you hate Heathcliff for some reason?
Okay, I
Do you,
don't
Jess?
hate Heathcliff. He's just a little boring. He's a little dry. You know, Garfield's got like a little zest to him. You know, he's like a little sarcastic, little spicy guy.
A little
What
spicy.
about Odie though? Isn't he a baller?
Wait, what?
These are listener questions that were submitted today. Just happened to fit. Benny from the Boy Detective says that Garfield is rad, but Odie's a baller, right? And then I'm assuming it was Will from Stuck Lucky that was asking why you hate Heathcliff and why you were wrong in your opinion on Heathcliff.
Well, you know, his opinion is usually wrong. So that's all I'm gonna say. The end.
I love
I'm
the
just joking.
Garfield stuff is like omnipresent.
I mean,
It's in our music videos.
There's like a lot of Garfield in my bedroom now. That sounds
Jessica,
weird.
people bring Jessica drawings of Garfield to shows and stuff too.
Interesting.
so how? I don't know the
Yeah,
back.
and they're always really, really creative.
Yeah.
What was that?
So what is the background of that? Is it just because you like him? Have you brought this up?
What
The Garfield incident.
I've always been a Garfield fan. I've just always had like Garfield and Hello Kitty interchangeably throughout my life.
It's kind of a nostalgic thing, or
Yeah, it's just a me thing.
I actually
It is.
bought a Garfield shirt the other night, a band shirt from Wes Hoffman and Friends. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they have a Garfield shirt. You might want it.
Oh my god. I have to see it.
What was the band name again?
Wesley Hoffman and Friends.
Wesley
Wes
Hoffman. Okay.
Hoffman and Friends, I guess they go by.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna look this up.
We
They're
need
like a
Garfield.
skate punk kind of band on Jumpstart Records,
Okay.
which is Jeremy that runs This Is Not Creative Fest. That's his record label.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Alright, if only my phone service would
More
load
you
faster, then
know.
I could see this.
Did anybody feel like the new Garfield, the CGI one, was a little dark?
You know,
I
it's
mean, like
funny,
compared to like out on the farm, like when they're like making stuff with and traps and stuff and presents with pitchforks and stuff.
whoa, I haven't actually
maybe
seen
do
it, but that
daddy
I haven't seen it either.
I haven't
That sounds
either, but
wild.
now we all want to see it.
We all have to go see it now.
The sales pitch.
It's gonna be a good field trip for us all.
Dark and
Our
gritty
first
Garfield.
sponsorship, yes.
Garfield should sponsor Flying Raccoon Suit and Ska Talk. There you go.
Oh my God.
Please.
Yes.
Please. Thank
Send us money. Send us all money.
you.
So what got you guys into ska out of all the music genres you could have fell in love with?
It was just one of those. I just really fell in love with the sound. It was just kind of on the radio when I was growing up. Tragic Kingdom was around. Kablam theme song was, Two Tone Army, stuff like that.
Yeah, our bass player showed us a lot of like ska when we were first starting out, and then also like a lot of us didn't play like guitar or bass or any of that kind of stuff. We had the stereotypical like we were in band and things like that. And I know for me, I was real into pop punk, and there's still bands like that I am into because I bought this Warped Tour DVD because it had a Sum 41 performance on it, which I still like that band. But also on that Warped Tour DVD was Mad Caddies playing Road Rash, which like as a horn player just blew my mind that you could play that like fast and technical and like with punk music and stuff like that. So that was great.
Yeah, and I think I found MU330 and Mustard Plug from, I think it's like random LimeWire downloads or something, and then that led me to just listening to more ska and just trying to find more of that sound.
Yeah, and like none of the bigger bands play Mississippi, so the only way like we didn't have the internet just open access like we have now, and at the time we would only find out about bands like that if maybe a touring band came through and covered them. So there was a band from New Orleans that played KKK Highway by MU30 at a show that we were playing, and then I was able to deep dive on that. But yeah, nobody plays Mississippi, and in the last 15 years, the only like bigger name ska band to do it has been the Toasters.
I remember back in high school, I really liked the Taj Motel Trio as well, which they were like one of the only active bands around, like that I remember from when I was in high school.
Yeah, there was a period where if you're in the South, you're allowed like one ska band per state, and that was it. And Georgia had Taj Motel Trio, and they're still going. We love them.
So one of
Love
our
listening.
listeners, Eric from he's from California, he said that he'd actually read or heard that you're the only ska band in Mississippi. And if that's true, he wants to hear about the trajectory of growing your local fan base to becoming a bad time touring band. How did you make all that happen?
Yeah,
Question
when we
mark.
started, there was one other ska band, and they kind of helped us get our start. They were called Stereo Hype, and they would let us open these all ages shows at like VFW halls and little all ages spaces. We had two around here called Graffitis and the Squeaky Lizard, um, which nowadays there aren't any all ages venues. So I don't know how like even you're in your bad teenage like high school garage band, like where you can get your start and start learning how to do your thing. I don't know where you would do that now, but yeah, they let us get our start, and it's been weird trying to build a fan base in Mississippi. We started something right before the pandemic where we were going to try to have like one big ska show here every summer to try to draw touring bands in, and we gave it some big ridiculous name, and we're like, it's the first annual one ever. And then the pandemic hit, and we never did a second one.
I
But
think what was it? The Southern Ska series?
yeah, it was a lot of
That's what it
S's.
was.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and that one went really well, and then immediately, like months later, that venue didn't exist. So we're still trying to build a fan base in Mississippi. We do other places we do better for whatever reason.
And we had ooh, I'm on. No.
No, you're not muted. You're good. I hear
Oh,
you.
I muted at one point. Sorry, we got that too.
Yeah, maybe.
We had talked about all ages shows before on the show and just the need for them again. So, boy, what do you guys think of all ages shows and where they are in this world compared to 21 and over? Like when I was a kid, I got into ska when I was younger, and like I never would have been able to get a show if everything was 21 and over or 18 or over.
Yeah, they're super super important because people need to hear music in their formative years. When they're like forming their memories. That's what I did. I miss that, like Graffitis, like and Squeaky Lizard, like Andy was saying, in Ocean Springs.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't think we would be doing this still if it weren't for all ages venues. And there aren't there aren't any anymore. And I know there's difficulties like, sustaining a business, and you can't have a liquor license, and maybe you're only open, some nights per week to have a show. So I know it's difficult, but I don't really know the answer to how to make a sustainable one, but we need that to I might just be out of touch now, but I don't see any like young bands around here anymore.
Well, it's kind of hard too because we're also in like the coast area where it's kind of a retirement area. There's really not much music going on unless it's like cover bands, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just
We do have a few. There are a few gems of bands around here, but
yeah, yeah, it's cover bands and blues rock mostly here, and then like I can count on like one hand maybe like the local original bands that would play like a 3 or 4 band bill. It's not too much of a thing here.
I have found it to be a lot of work. I know Jess has been setting up shows outside of Philly in that area, but I live in rural Michigan, like central, like middle of the mid. Like it's probably not much different from where you guys are at. Our city is like 25,000 people, so trying to establish a scene there with younger bands, like there's not really any bands because there's nowhere to play in the area. So it's really discouraging to be a band if you've got to drive an hour and a half just to get your first gig, and that's going to be quarterly.
Yeah.
So I've been working with a local theater trying to set something up. I want to get like the local high school bands, opening up and getting some experience with some other touring, traveling bands and stuff like that, and have some all ages shows here because it's one of those things that it's important.
Props to y'all for doing that too. I mean, like, I think about how we even like did those shows when we were young, and like, there's no van or anything. Like, you're trying to carpool and get like 6 cars to go to one place. Like, if you have to drive an hour and a half away, I don't even know if that can happen as a little group of 17-year-olds.
No, that's very true.
We did have one really cool all ages venue. I say, but quote unquote venue because it was just like post Hurricane Katrina wreckage. Yeah, it was called the Pilings, but literally it was just like a house that was torn off of its foundation.
Yeah, and it was like generator shows there, wasn't it?
Yeah, with generators and like everybody was just like hot and sweaty outside underneath this gross house.
Yeah, after the hurricane, like it was definitely a bonding experience of just all of us living in the wreckage down here for a while. So I would have been like, yeah, 14 or 15, but we could all like, yeah, go to the pilings, this wreckage of a house, and see some generator show of like 3 or 4 bands and our friends playing stuff before we were ever in bands. It's cool.
They were some fun shows.
Yeah.
So, like I said, some of my formative memories were definitely over at the Pilings, like being 14, 15, and watching Curly and his other bands, like his grunge band and metal band over there.
Yeah, before we ever played together, Curly was in like he was in like the cool band in high school and stuff, and we would all go see Curly play, and they would play like in the high school gym and stuff like that. I don't remember why they did that, but I remember him like running around the gym with a cowbell and stuff like that.
Yep.
I don't know what event that was.
So is Curly the friend that Frank Flying Raccoon Suit made in your guys' first album, or
I I think our bass player did that. He did that again. He's sticking us with these names, and then he left, and then we just got to explain them. I think it's we had like robots and stuff in our imagery for a long time, and like we were younger then, and just we were kind of like dorky, standoffish people.
Well,
And
Curly was in the band before that for a little bit. I'm actually the friend, Andrew.
Ooh.
I joined in the middle of that album.
Yeah, well, I think the robot was the friend for the art, but Jessica and Nevin did join when we were like halfway done with that album, which is why they're only on like half of it. If I had known Jessica, well, if she was in the band at that point, she would be singing way more of those songs. I wouldn't be doing all that.
Doing all that.
Yeah. I sound how I sound. I'm okay with it, but I sound how I sound.
Oh, you sound great. Stop it.
Thank you.
so did you guys have any other member changes between that and Afterglow?
Yeah.
It's
Our bass
we
player.
added Brandon on trumpet, and our bass player changed at Moonflower. He
I was wrong.
what's that?
I said, oopsie, I was wrong.
Oh no, I mean it's basically all the same, but yeah, he did one song for Moonflower before moving away to North Carolina. So, and we still love him. He's one of our best friends. So anytime we're in the area, we like try to stop and see him and things like that. But pretty solidified after Jessica and Nevin though.
And then yeah, Moonflower was your guys' last record. What can you tell us about that one?
Well, I mean, we wrote it, I think, at pretty much at the same time as Afterglow. We just didn't record it till way later. But
Yeah,
yeah, we were focused on like the mental health thing, and yeah, all of our lyrics are pretty sad, like open diary type of things. So that's what yeah.
Yeah, we had a period of like 5 years, maybe from like 2018 up until we finished Moonflower in 2023, where we just didn't stop recording. So in that time, we were just, and we record ourselves too, because we don't have like money or resources. And also, there aren't recording studios here. So we would have to make it a point to take a trip somewhere. So Curly records us, and we just get little bursts of time where we can get together like 2 hours on this Monday and like 3 hours on this Saturday. So we're just slowly building up these songs over years. And we did Afterglow, Moonflower. We had an EP and like 4 cover songs in that period. And now we've given ourselves a break for like 2 years, which is the longest break in recording we've had. And we're trying to knock the dust off.
What is your creative process like? Is there one person in particular who leads that, or do you all kind of contribute the same?
I do a lot of like the skeletons of the songs, but everybody's like free to bring stuff to the table. So there are sometimes I'll bring a song completely finished to the table with like horns and lyrics, like I think Pinwheel was one, and then other times I'll have like the music and Jessica will do the lyrics and me and Brandon will flesh out the horn part. Curly and Brandon each wrote a song on the last album. They wrote Long in the Tooth and Sunflower, which the horn players, especially Brandon and Evan, have a really strong mind for jazz. So they write parts I could never write.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Moonflower was definitely where we all like wrote a lot more than the previous albums. We all definitely had our own individual influences, like on every song.
And Jessica and I work in a unique way too, because the way we write lyrics, like a lot of times lyrics from both of us will end up in a song and our mind will sort of end up in the same ballpark without talking about what a song is about. But um Swan Song's like a good example where Jessica will send me like, would you say like freeform poetry or something?
Yeah, I definitely write like a lot of poetry, and I get really wordy, and then yeah, Andy will change it, and he'll try to fix some melodies, and then we just edit it back and forth, and then by the end of it, it's not at all like the same song it was in the beginning.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like she writes some great stuff, and it'll a lot of times it'll be not even set to a particular song. It'll just be like lyrics or poetry on its own. And for Swan Song, I would see it, and then I just do the part of like, okay, I can stick it in the format of a song. So like 2 lines of hers, 1 line of mine to bridge this, line of hers, line of mine, sort of thing. And yeah, it ends up being pretty cool. Or like Long Shot was funny because she wrote lyrics that I ended up singing, and I wrote lyrics that she ended up singing, and that's just how the format ended up after we decided we were going to split it, and we didn't plan for it to be that way. We were just kind of writing.
I can see a lot of the free poetry in Swan Song.
Walking on air, but it's getting thin. Is complacency so permanent? Leaving my well wishes by the stairs. Motivation so hard to find. Your sympathy's no friend of mine. Overnight.
like starting out walking on air, but it's getting thin. That chorus, my veins are running empty, but the emptiness feels right.
Yeah.
Those
Those
are
are Jessica
definitely
lines.
something. Yeah, those are definitely something that I feel like I would hear in a poem. It's kind of ironic. Sunflower and Long in the Tooth were some of the songs I want to talk about the lyrics tonight, but
Yeah. Well, we got
um,
the lyrics. Yeah.
oh, I was looking at them earlier.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference in the way those two songs sound on the album.
Yeah.
Sunflower compared to Long in the Tooth, which is a lot more metal, a lot more hardcore, compared to a much more ska sounding song like Sunflower is. Uh,
Yeah.
I like how you guys' music does that. There's it's kind of goes back and forth between something more traditional, and then a lot of the songs you can hear that Cajun, Southern, like kind of chaotic, hardcore to it when you get
Yeah.
you guys' breakdowns.
Yeah, our
Thank you.
drummer Curly wrote "Long in the Tooth." He's the metal guy. Well, we're both, he and I are the metal guys in the band. Um, yeah, he wrote that one. Um, and then Brandon, our jazz guy, actually wrote "Sunflower," the ska song, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. And Long in the Tooth might be the first time like there's lyrics in that song that were written by like Jessica, me, and Curly all in there. I can't remember exactly who did what. I think a line or two in the chorus is mine, and most of the rest of it is y'all's, right?
Yeah, and that's definitely our longest song. It's like 5 minutes and some 30. I don't know, something like that. Very long song.
Yeah, that's why we like everybody to have written something on the album because we all we all like and love ska, but we all also pull from different things, and then you can hear people's like voice in it because Brandon has, like I said, that jazz mind, and he didn't write any of the lyrics on Sunflower, but you can tell just from the horn part and the chord choices, it's stuff I never would have written in there, and the fact that he wrote it makes it different, I think, than like a typical kind of like poppier ska song. And
And
then
about the Cajun thing, I mean, I come from a very Cajun family, so that explains that.
yeah, nobody can pronounce Jessica's last name correctly because it's like Cajun. So they call
Yeah,
her Jessica Johnson.
yeah, I get all kinds of wacky pronunciations.
Yeah. How do you say it?
How do you say it?
Johnson.
There you go.
I say Jawsaw with a thick French accent.
And that's how you say all the words.
Yeah. Um, Sunflower was cool though. Our drummer, like obviously we said he's a prog metal guy and he listens to all these concept albums by like Coheed and Cambria, some of his favorites and stuff like that. And we set up the album to be a little thematic in that way. So like Vidalia, the first song, the lyrics are just the lyrics from Long Shot and Sunflower because we thought the point of the album would be you're looking forward either with hope or looking forward with despair. And one of those is Sunflower, one of those is Long in the Tooth. So we thought we'd like reference both of them right out the gate and then come across those themes whenever we got there. And I think it worked out pretty cool.
Oh, 100%. That's why I wanted to pick those songs because there was such a big contrast between the two of them. But yeah, that chorus in Sunflower, these insecurities will rot with all the worries of what you never told me. That's
Yeah.
obviously kind of getting over some stuff, but when you're in a bad relationship, there is a lot of damage that's done. People are left kind of wondering, who they are and what they did wrong, and there's a lot of questions. But sometimes you're in a wrong relationship for the wrong reasons, and it's not you, it's not me, it's you, as some of our friends middle out like to say. I was just saying how much I enjoy the chorus for Sunflower. These insecurities will rot with all the worries of what you never told me. Just kind of letting go of the opinion of others, and needing that affirmation from other people.
Yeah, yeah. I try to yeah, I try not to do that anymore. I'm sorry,
Were
I'm having
some
a
other
lot of
songs
trouble with
on
the
that
connection.
record that you guys were really that you worked really closely together in writing?
Yeah, for sure. And some of them, I'm trying to think. Yeah, songs on there go back to probably like I think we were wrapping up Afterglow, and the first couple songs we wrote after that were Axe to Grind and Take This With You. And then we just kept slowly going over time. And like it's hard for us to get together, all seven of us, so we'll get together in groups of like three or four, and it'll be different people, and each time we're chipping a little bit more away at a song. Or like me and Brandon have written something, and then later on we take what me and Brandon came up with to Jessica and Curly, and it changes from there. But yeah, I think at the end we're all real happy with the result, like hearing a bit of ourselves in all these.
Yeah, we wrote "Take This With You" at the birthday party that you threw for me, my surprise birthday party.
Oh yeah, threw Jessica a surprise birthday party at her apartment one year, and I think at some point in the night, people were playing video games and stuff or watching YouTube, and we were just messing around on a guitar, and I came up with the first riff, and she came up with the chorus hook, and yeah, that was the first thing we wrote from Moonflower, and I think I went back to my place and started trying to flesh it out from there, but that was just us messing around. That was cool.
Another one of your songs that stands out for me is back from Make a Friend.
Oh,
It's Screens.
oh, okay.
Because it's one of those things that's still really true today, is how people just get it's trending. Uh,
Yeah, I
are you
uh
gonna tell me Curly wrote that or something?
no, I definitely wrote it. I feel very like there's some songs on that album that aren't as strong as others, but I feel like Screens is one of the strong ones though. I do, and we still play some of those songs on our live set, like Cocoon and Parasites and stuff.
And
Um,
I think we use that intro for like 3 different songs now.
yeah, Screens became like four songs of ours. We used to do so the intro to the song Afterglow is what we would play live when we would play Screens, and then later it just became the song Afterglow. And then Flip the Switch on that album, which is just a little interlude, is the bridge of Screens just slowed down 100%, and we threw like Glockenspiel and Melodica on top of it and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I guess we were all real big fans of that song. It's that there was one show I remember back when I used to sing more of the songs, I was losing my voice and stuff, and I guess it can be hard to understand what I'm saying in these things. So Curly was gonna sing some of the songs for me, and he had to look at the lyrics and be like, "This is what you've been saying for these past like 4 years?" I had no idea. Yep, that's it. I love that song a lot, and yeah, basically what you were saying about it was kind of my thought behind it.
Is there anything else you can elaborate on the lyrics and kind of the meaning behind what you were thinking when you wrote it?
Yeah, I feel like a couple of different ways about it now because there was a period where I was probably like, oh, that's kind of cringy. Why did I write that? But it was about I was super social media averse for a long time, and it was about you know, people didn't really get into art or being artists and stuff so that they could like learn how to, I guess, promote themselves on 10 different social media platforms and stuff like that. And it took me a long time to get over that. Now I'm like, now I own it. I'm like, all right, I'm on these things. Let's enjoy it the most we can. Let's have some fun. But it took me a long time because that album was like 2016, and I don't even think I made us an Instagram until like 2021 or something like that. I held out for a long time before just biting it and being like, nope, all right, own it. This is part of it. But yeah, it was part of us looking at our screens a lot and kind of living through it.
Yeah, it drives me nuts when I'm going like I get together with a bunch of friends or something like that. You got like 10 people chilling in the living room and everybody's down looking at their phones. It's just like,
Yeah, which I
Guilty.
mean,
But
I
I'm always on Pokemon Go, so please forgive me.
no, you're good, and that's part of why like I'll cringe a little bit looking back on it because now I'm like, in some ways I get it, but then in other ways sometimes it is a chore. But there is stuff like I mean, now that we've gotten older, I don't even live close to most of my friends, and most of my interactions with them is through my phones. It's through like playing video games online and stuff like that. Maybe a couple times a year I'll see them at a festival, but there's two sides of it at this point.
Yeah.
I love all the friends that live inside my hand computer.
Yeah, all the little friends I see in my phone each day. Yeah.
That's just the age that we live in, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the family that I found, they're all 2 hours plus away. Eric lives down in Detroit. Or in Grand Rapids now. He's about 2 hours. Jess is like 12 hours. Everybody that I'm really close to anymore, we interact online. That's how we
Exactly.
can support each other. That's how we can stay in touch. Share videos from a show that we just went to.
Yeah. And I love all those things. And like, yeah, just seeing a little blip of my friend's day and some happy thing they did and just cheering them on from afar. I'm like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
friend that's 6 states away. But I think just, yeah, 10 years ago, the little social media averse me had a different thing in mind writing it. But I think both things can be true for sure in different situations.
It's just a matter of what you're looking to get out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're trying to get that dopamine rush and that affirmation from somebody else,
I know.
through Facebook, then you're
And
probably barking up the wrong tree.
I'll admit I have that bad habit, the doom scrolling and stuff like that. Like last thing you do before you go to bed is just scroll through some shit that makes you sad about the state of everything. You're like, all right, made myself good and sad. Time to go to bed.
And
All
then you
right.
can't sleep because you're like, oh my gosh, all these
Yeah.
things are wrong. I know.
Right.
I know the feeling. I
Mm.
was muted for a while. You brought up festivals, and I think that's really important because when we're younger, like you said, a lot of your friends are right there and you go do things together. But as people grow and they grow apart, I feel like festivals are where we meet people who are still doing the things, I guess. And
Yeah.
they just happen to be, like you said, located in different states, and there's not many of them in one specific area. So
Yeah.
I, I think festivals are really, really important today. And especially we talked about the all age shows, and most of them are all ages, and you can take your kids, and then other people take their kids and they get into music together. And it's just,
Yeah, especially in a genre this community focused like ska is. I
mhm.
can't count the number of people I've seen just being like, didn't I see you in California earlier this year, and now I'm seeing you in Pennsylvania, and I'm seeing you
Right?
in Florida next month.
Yeah,
Like,
they're always like super magical feeling. Like festivals for me, it feels like going to Disneyland or something.
yeah, we've seen
Mhm.
Hans Gruber in the diehards in so many states that aren't states that us or Hans Gruber live in. Just being like, oh, nice seeing you in Virginia. Are we still seeing you in Georgia in a couple months? All right, heck yeah.
Yeah, it's great how it brings people together. My wallet doesn't like it so much because then you
This
get so
is
that when you're not going to all the festivals that everyone's going to,
Oh my
but
God.
it's hard.
Yeah, I have to miss out on a lot, unfortunately.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this year I have. Last year I overdid it big time and it hurt.
I feel grateful that we're at a point we get asked to play some different festivals and stuff, and even like you just mentioned the wallet, we've never flown out for a show and we're still like wrapping our heads around how bands are able to do that. And we've got like offered a couple like one-off things in California for next year. And I'm like, I don't know if we could fly 7 people and
Right.
like not lose a bunch of money. Like I don't even know how we would get merch over there to like make some of that money back. And
Yeah, we just had the Boy Detective here for a show, and they went from Detroit to Pouza in Montreal down to Philly in
oh
2 days. And they drove. I let them all stay at my house because it saved them money that way. But they didn't bring their merch because they were afraid to take it over the border or thought they would have issues doing so. And I'm like, yeah, how did
yeah.
you like do all that driving to make this much money? But at least they got something and they had a free place to stay, I guess. They got some new fans.
Yeah. And that's all. And
But
if you can
flying
pull it,
7 people would be crazy
yeah, I
for
get
one
stressed
show.
out going to Croydon. Spirit, it was my first time flying Spirit, and they gave me so much grief about my trombone. Like I don't, just me getting to Croydon was its own
Wow.
adventure. I couldn't imagine like 7 folks.
Yeah, I've never flown, so the thought of that is just, oof, I don't know if I could.
Never
Um,
ever flown. I don't want to fly today.
That's right.
I have flown, but I don't want to fly anymore with everything going on.
I flew yesterday and I survived it.
And you're here to talk about
I'm
it.
here to
That's
tell the
cool.
story. Yep.
And boy, are
Hell
my
yeah.
arms tired. I'm just kidding.
Speaking of shenanigans, was there a
You
giant
always do
Nazi
that.
at Punk
Segue,
Rock
hell yeah.
Bowling? Holy shit.
Was there a giant what?
Nazi at Punk Rock Bowling. Were you close to that?
Oh, were you
was.
near that situation?
What? Do you want to hear my story about that situation?
Yeah, I gotta tell it.
You want to hear it now or later?
So first explain shenanigans and why you're telling the story.
All right. Hey guys, this is the part of the podcast where we ask you to tell us your favorite tour story or trauma tour story or just something weird that's happened to you as you've toured.
Weird fun.
So when someone's
Traumatic.
like, "Hey, what happened to you on tour?" What is the first story to come to mind?
You want to go first, Jess, or me?
I have to think about this because we're not that wild.
Do you want
We're
Eric
not-
to tell his story first?
We're not super wild. There's a story we've told a bunch, so I won't tell it, about this house in Connecticut that we thought was haunted, and members were sneaking around playing pranks on each other, and the neighbors thought we were trying to break into their place. We've slept. Let me think. After Pooza Fest, I mean, we were done at like 3 a.m. and couldn't get a hotel and had to sleep in a French Walmart parking lot.
There was this time that Andrew actually slept on the floor of a hotel room, like in a decomposition stain. I'm
Yeah, it
pretty
looked like
sure.
a dead body puddle or something. People invite bands a lot of times to like come crash at their place, I think assuming that every band is going to want to party and stuff like that. And at this point, we don't even check on those offers, but there have been times, it was one of those cities in Canada, Jess, I don't know if you remember which one, but we showed up and they said like, yeah, there's spots for all of y'all to sleep and this and that, and it was just kind of a hard wood floor, and it was like a late night like punk party, just loud music, tons of drinking, and they
Yeah, I
had
mean,
like,
that's all fine, but the thing is, they only had one towel.
yeah, they had one towel for the whole house, and we're like, I don't think I'm gonna dip.
Did you share the towel?
Well, of
we
course.
we
Who
thought
showered
about
that
it.
night?
Joystick has had Joystick picks some questionable offers to take people up on, so I've had a lot
I mean,
more.
they probably used the towel.
They would
probably
use the
used
towel.
towel.
I've had a lot rougher experiences touring with them because they really rough it, and they've stayed at like the grossest punk houses you can think of. And this isn't an FRS story, but I guess just a touring story. We stayed at somebody's house in Valdosta, Georgia, and we got there. We had already committed to staying there, so it was too late to get a hotel or anything. It was extremely hot. There's like no air conditioning. It was one of those punk houses where they have a bunch of pets that they don't really take care of like they should, and the floor is just covered with like urine and feces from the animals. So there's almost nowhere to sleep. And I think one person slept on a couch. Me and Duck, the singer of Joystick, slept in somebody's closet, like next to each other on the hardwood floor, with no padding, just awake all night going like, this sucks, this sucks. And our guitarist, who was a loud snorer, it sounds like a cartoon, but he was sleeping in the van outside, and it was super hot. All the windows were down. He was snoring just loud as fuck. And a bird got into the van, got extremely scared by his loud snoring, and then like shit over all of our stuff in the van before anybody realized what was happening and got the bird out. Um, just a lot of stuff like that that ideally wouldn't be as common as it is.
No pressure, Jess. Can you top that? A bird
Yeah.
shitting in the van?
You have
Oh.
feces.
It doesn't have to be a crazy or traumatic thing. It could just be a fun story or a sweet story or any kind of story.
Oh, okay. Well, there was free cheesecake at Stoop Fest.
Oh, we heard about this
I
cheesecake, didn't we?
I think about that cheesecake a lot.
I think Joystick told us about the cheesecake or something. Was it Bex?
Oh man.
Oh, it had to be. Oh God, Bex. we were very much enjoying the cheesecake together under the merch table. That sounds bad.
Yeah,
No, we were goblins, definitely. For the
that wasn't
cheesecake.
all ages show, like no liquor, but all the band members just standing side stage smashing cheesecake and watching the next band.
Yeah, like free PBR, no thank you. Give me a cheesecake.
Yeah.
I was just at Stoop Fest a couple weeks ago.
How was it this year?
It was incredible. April from Apes of the State jumped off the pavilion roof of the where they were playing at,
Oh my
right there
God.
in the park, after chugging a can of condensed milk.
Yeah, those pictures were
Waterfall in
interesting
it.
looking.
Yeah. Cheshi did a solo performance out in the street, which was pretty wild.
Yeah.
AJJ
You said
solo
milk.
was
Hans Gruber and the Diehards would like to talk to you about the milk.
Yeah. There's some
Anyway.
dairy goblins. That sounds awesome.
yeah, it was pretty wild weekend.
I miss Michigan. We've only been that one time.
We'll set some shows up for you.
Have you played Philly ever?
Yeah, we played Philly once with oh, but we were on tour with Stuck Lucky, and it was what, 2021 or 22?
It's which, for whatever reason.
Oh, it's
I
all
remember
good.
talking to Will about this.
Yeah, we love touring with them, and as a trombone player, watching Will play and perform is just so insane to me. It's probably informed a lot of how I am on stage because of how nuts
Oh
he is.
yeah.
I might be able
I
to
thought
tell
it was
you
gonna be
exactly when that
What's
was.
that?
Oh, heck yeah.
I don't know what that is. I can't say it.
Yeah, it's kind of blurry, but we knew it meant something.
It was it's a book that Will put together of all the artwork from shows they've played over the last however many
I
That's
have
cool.
so many of his little art pieces.
Yeah, I'll get this
Oh,
one.
it's
Uh-huh.
right there.
This one's clear.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
I also have a vial of teeth that
I
they sent
have
me
one
with
of
the
those
album.
too.
I didn't get the teeth.
I gotta say that was a first for the album pre-pack.
Yeah, I was
What-
looking for those teeth
Item.
and I couldn't find them anywhere when I was interviewing them.
Are they human teeth?
Um,
Oh, I forget what kind of teeth he said they were.
well, they're not human. I don't know what they are. Some sort of toothed mammal.
Okay, so you've been sent teeth. You've been sent also a Andrew,
Oh, from Stuck Lucky?
the raccoon thing,
Raccoon thing.
the raccoon wiener.
Oh yeah. Oh god, that's in my office at work. I'm a biologist at my day job, so I don't know if they knew it was like kind of fitting, but a witch at this punk show in Alabama gifted me a raccoon dick. So
That
well,
would have been a good tour story right there.
oh
You
yeah, shit.
identify it immediately.
I mean, that's just so day to day for us, you know. It didn't stick out as a wild tour story.
I'm like, I don't know how to say it. I guess I'll just scream it. Raccoon wiener.
Yeah, it was. I think we traded a shirt for it or something because they we were playing this like punk rock flea market thing in Birmingham with Runaway Ricochet this past January, and they had a table. It was just like bones and jewelry, stuff like that. And I guess from Roadkill or something, they had this raccoon baculum, which is another word for the raccoon dick. So now it sits on my desk at work with a lot of other bones.
The more you know. I learned a new word today that I wish I didn't know.
I was
Yep,
thinking the same thing actually.
Baculum, everybody write that down.
No, don't.
Use it 3 times and it's yours. And
Yeah. Oh, I guess that was a tour story also.
yeah, yeah.
We didn't catch the brunt of this, but Runaway Ricochet was touring down from up north to the south to do some shows with us. And all these bands from up north come south in the winter because the crazy winter stuff isn't supposed to happen. And we had a once in a lifetime snowstorm this January, the exact time they were coming down. And I think the news was saying like, yeah, New Orleans hasn't had this much snow since 1890 or something like that. And if it snows a little bit, the South freaks out and just immediately shuts down. Schools are closed, jobs are closed, and it snowed several feet. And Runaway Ricochet said as they were getting into New Orleans, like they're used to snow and stuff, and they were just seeing all these kind of dumb Southerners with their cars like lodged in snow on the side of the road, and they were helping them pull their cars out as they were making their way to the Airbnb and stuff like that. But yeah, New Orleans was shut down, so no other bands could get into the city to play this show that they had just driven into no problem because they're from Minnesota. And yeah, the fallout of that was pretty wild. And I think it canceled their shows in Texas too with Hans Gruber. They had to drive days of just the South freaking out about snow.
We actually interviewed Eric like what 3 weeks after that happened.
Oh, what they
Something
say?
like that. It basically like everybody was freaking out and they're like, this is another day at the office. Like
You're like, this is like a normal Tuesday.
yeah.
It was so
But,
nuts that
yeah, I'm pretty sure they had what like 2 or 3 shows they got wound up getting canceled because of inclement weather.
yeah, Texas through New Orleans. I mean, the pipes burst at my house, and all bunch of crazy stuff was happening. It was weird for sure, and it probably won't happen again in our lifetime because it doesn't normally.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Eric, do you want to share your tour story real quick?
Yeah, I was gonna say you
I'm
still haven't told
curious.
us about the Nazi.
Oh,
Yeah.
so before that happened, like before the video happened, when he was down like in the kind of just in the audience side of things,
Uh-huh.
he had got into I'll say a disagreement with somebody who is not white, and I ended up getting into a shoving match with him for a little while.
Oh,
And then I had sent Amanda a message and being like, I don't remember what I said, but something like about him. And then she sent me back the video of she's like, oh yeah, well this guy just got kicked out. I'm like, that's the same dude. So
He's wearing
really?
a freaking
Yeah.
SS shirt at Punk Rock Bowling. Like, what do you expect is gonna happen?
yeah,
Looking for confrontation or something.
Crazy.
so I had a moment with him before his
You'll
big
find
moment.
it.
I heard he
Dressed like
also
Gestapo.
he hurt one of our friends too when he was like running out. Kayla from Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
saw
she got
that
hurt.
on
But
Facebook,
she's
I
like
think.
she has a walker, so he like rammed into her or something, and her leg was like spazzing for a couple days.
Man,
It'll suck.
Yeah.
I'm glad at least everybody knew. All right, this person's got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder what happened to him after he left the venue or wherever this was.
I don't think anything did as much as you want to
No?
because if you left the venue, you can't get back in.
I know, but I'm like wondering if he like got followed and like where is he right now?
Found out
I
he's
saw him
famous.
get rocked a couple times in that video that's
Yeah.
going viral.
Uh-huh. Interesting. Anyway,
It's fun to see Nazis get punched.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Very personal.
yeah, it is. But I saw that everywhere I looked, that video was popping up on my feed. I was like, this is the only thing on my feed right now. Kind of funny. I guess I'm up on the outline here, huh?
Yes.
So Jess, this one's for you. I want to talk about what it's like for you being a woman in a male-dominated industry. Have you had issues with that? Are you comfortable in the industry? Have you seen changes? Like, how has it been for you?
Luckily, I've had pretty great experiences because everybody in Ska is like super super nice and kind of on the same page with that. There's been a couple of asshats who've made snide comments or kind of like they stop you, they hit you in the chest and they're like, no girlfriend allowed. Or-
Yeah, we've heard that a few times.
Yeah.
but that's only happened a couple times. But yeah, no, luckily, like I have the greatest bandmates. We tour with the greatest people. But yeah, no, it is male dominated, but luckily, everybody in the ska community is super, super friendly, watching out for me, protecting me. Nobody in the band would ever let anything happen to me, but yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I love like all the little girls after the shows that come and like try to take pictures with me. It's honestly like the highlight of it. I always end up crying and looking like a monster in all the pictures. I'm just like, but yeah, it's
So
great.
if you could give them a message, what is your message to like that next generation, the kids coming up in the scene?
Man, love yourself. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Love everyone else. I can't do this. This is so hard to do. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Another good thing about all ages shows, because even this Mustard Plug run, there's so many little girls interacting with Jess, and their dads will be like, "It's their first show ever. Can you take our picture and stuff like that?" And Jess is just like their hero.
That is awesome.
I love seeing kids at their first concerts because they have no idea like what to expect, and they're just so overwhelmed and so happy, and like they got that childlike joy that people lose.
So wholesome. And the good parents will have them in those ridiculous big headphones. and stuff.
That's me.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well,
That's
my
awesome.
kid's a drummer and a singer and soon to be trombone player. You'll probably be happy to hear. So I got to protect his hearing because I mean I would have to anyway, but I'm like, if you want to play drums, you got to be able to hear. So you
Yeah.
gotta do things. Because I still do not wear ear protection and I should. I tried, and after doing
You
it so long
don't, Jess?
without it, it's like, what?
You don't?
Huh?
Huh?
Okay.
What'd you say?
No, I don't. And I tried, and I don't know. It's just not the same experience for me. I know that sounds stupid, but
Especially for a drummer. I know drummers will practice with noise canceling headphones or the practice sticks that are a lot quieter and stuff, just to
right.
prolong it if you can.
So, anyways, you guys just had this big run with Mustard Plug and Pie Tasters,
Yeah.
which seemed like it was awesome. I saw some video from you guys doing waiting room with Mustard Plug.
Nice.
Yeah, I sang Waiting Room with Mustard Plug, and then Andrew played guitar for Mr. Smiley, and I think he played beer for a couple songs too, or a couple shows.
Yeah, Colin is taken to, he likes doing a couple frontman things and getting like away from the guitar for a minute. So I don't know, have y'all seen them since they've started doing that?
Yeah.
He's got the spiel. He'll be like, "I've been trapped behind the guitar for 32 years or something. Now it's my time." Yeah, they were the only like bigger band that has well, like the only band from that era that has ever like offered to bring us on tour and stuff like that. So we were really grateful, and part of it is like it helps with the internet connectivity now and stuff, but before this era of social media, there would be really no reason to bring a band from Mississippi as your support because you want them to bring a crowd in their hometown when you go and play it, and nobody's really stopping here, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense. But just the way things are now, and we can build a following in other places by just community and like pushing online and releasing music that people outside of our city will hear has really helped with that. And they're very sweet people. It was great hanging out with them each night, and the pie tasters.
Oh, for sure.
Well, you guys have another big run coming up here shortly, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
We have a couple. One we actually haven't announced yet. When does this video go up? Because we can maybe say it.
Maybe Tuesday, but probably Friday.
Friday, sorry.
Okay, heck yeah. Well, this should be announced Monday, so that works. So the next thing is July. It's just a little weekend, but it's Nashville and St. Louis with Joystick and Stuck Lucky, Ningwood Records Fest, and then Nashville. We haven't been for like 4 years. And then in September, we're doing a run supporting Catbite, which will be really cool.
Oh,
That
nice.
is-
Wait, that's not announced yet?
No, that one will announce Monday,
Oh,
or it is already announced in the past by the time you hear this.
oh, awesome.
Um,
It's like my favorite. I love them. I mean, I'm from Philly, so they're
There's-
like my hometown band.
Yes, they're great people.
Mm-hmm.
I have so
Seeing
much
them
respect
tomorrow,
for-
by the way. But go ahead.
You are?
I'm seeing them in a church basement in Philly.
Oh,
in
is that their
August.
hometown?
So
Yeah.
I'm probably taking my son. Yeah, it's gonna be a great time. I can't wait. I think they had like 22 tickets left today. I don't know what the capacity is, but they're selling it out.
love
It's so
that.
cool.
I can see that like they're so nervous for their first, like, because they've been just crushing it, I think most of their touring has been like
Absolutely.
in
What do you think
support
of
of
their new EP?
yeah. But this is their first like headline tour,
Mhm.
I guess, and you can tell they're nervous, but they're still crushing it. I have
Yeah.
so much respect for them, like how hard they work and never slowing down, and they still stay so community based and like grounded with everything. It's been very cool to see. But that will be, let me see, Columbus, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Harrisburg,
No
Pennsylvania.
Philly? Oh, Harrisburg,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
What's that?
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not too far for me. No Philly.
Yeah, I guess because this is their big Philly one that they're
Yeah,
trying
I
to
guess
push.
so. So, oh, these are more headlining shows for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be in September. Yeah, starting September 16th.
All right, well, Washington, D.C. and Harrisburg aren't too far. I might have to plan for that.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. I've seen Catbite in Washington, D.C. before, but not Harrisburg.
Okay. I wasn't aware that Harrisburg existed until this.
That is the capital of Pennsylvania.
Oh my God.
Wow. Wow, Andrew.
I'm a
I
big
don't know. Oh, God, you don't know the name of the venue, do you?
It is Capital City Music Hall on
Oh,
my
there's a
little.
place called Love Drafts that has some things out that way, but I've never been to a show out there, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm stoked for it. It's gonna
There's
be
a
cool.
first for everything.
That's most of our schedule for the year. Just booking
That's
tours
fine.
takes so long. Other than that, we're doing uh we have a festival that announces next Friday, and then we're playing a Trans Pride festival here in Mississippi in September.
Nice.
And I think that's all our shows for the year. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You mentioned you haven't recorded in 2 years, which was a long time for you. Are you bored? Are you ready to get back on it?
Right, so
I
Are you
think
poetry.
enjoying the break?
What'd you say, Jess?
I said I think we're ready.
Yeah.
We've been tracking. We've got some stuff. We go back and forth on this kind of debate in the band. Curly, who records and produces us, he's a full album guy, and I think I'm a full album guy too, just dropping an album. But just the way the like music landscape is, we see artists doing this thing more, which is just dropping singles periodically, not
Yeah,
even
that's
to
fun.
to promote an album release, but just like a hey, we exist thing. So we're not sure which way we want to go with it yet, but we're writing, recording. It's been fun.
Cool. Did you mention Michigan on your list?
No,
No.
they didn't.
I'm
That was a
sorry.
listener question from Benny from the Boy Detective. He would like to know when you're playing in Michigan and will it be with the Boy Detective?
I would love to. It's so far away. It's like,
Are you familiar with them at all?
yeah, because of Mustard Blood, funny enough.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
Yeah, but they're so good and something to do. We've never played with something to do
Yes.
besides a festival.
Mm-hmm. They're so good too.
Oh my God.
Big
So many good ska bands out there.
Midwest is doing it, man. Y'all
Yeah.
got them.
Those were what my number 1 and 2 albums for last year, I think.
Oh, really?
Oh, Boy Detective
Earth
and something to do, yeah.
Yeah, Earth Theft and
Definitely.
blank. Yeah, caffeinated.
And Stuck Lucky was up there too, weren't they?
100%.
Yeah.
3, I believe.
And
Uh-huh.
Jessica's on that album.
I know Flying Raccoon Suit was on my best 10 for Skagazine when I was Skagazine all by myself in 23. And then I found these guys and drugged them along with me.
We appreciate
Well,
it.
I wasn't there in 2023 to put Moonflower on.
But he would have.
Of
He would
course.
have.
I appreciate the past thought. I think
The past
Something to
thought.
Do's song "Am I Still Coming Over" has been my earworm from them, and like I guess I've listened to it enough at this point that it just shows up randomly when I'm listening to other music. So I still listen to them like at least every week.
Oh, nice. So where can our audience find you? Where are you at as far as the internet? Where can they are you streaming? Where can they buy your merch?
Yeah,
Well, we're on Facebook, Instagram, the Flying Raccoon Suit. What's the other one? Blue Sky.
Yeah, I always forget
Yeah,
about
we're all
Blue
at
Sky.
Spotify, YouTube. Yeah, and let me see. We're What is on Blue Sky? Is it FRS the band or just Flying Raccoon Suit?
It is Flying Raccoon Suit, yeah.
All right, cool. I guess, yeah. And yeah, wherever you get your music videos, we are on there.
Yeah, you can buy our merch. It's in our link in all our social media profiles, our shirts and pins and stuff, or our old albums, our new vinyl. If you want to support us, go to the Bad Time Records store and get that one there. We don't stream a ton, but Curly, our drummer, has a gaming channel at Curly Studios on Twitch and YouTube. And so sometimes we'll do fun little video game covers. Like Jessica and I have been in videos with him doing different stuff. But he'll occasionally do live streams. Like this weekend, we're actually doing a big like Mario Kart 8 live stream for charity. So occasionally we'll do stuff like that. Kind of as
Yeah, we're gonna all try to be in that this weekend.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah,
which it already happened. If we, yeah,
it already happened, but you
it
can
already
find
happened.
it on his
You can
Twitch
find it.
maybe.
Didn't you guys do a Mario Kart cover at one point in time?
We
Do I
did, yeah.
remember
And
correctly? You did
Mario
that.
Kart
I think
and
Piranha Plant plays keys on that, doesn't it?
yeah, actually, that's me. I'm the Piranha Plant.
she wears
I
many hats.
don't play keys, but I just pretend to.
Now you did good. That was you're on melodica for that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we put that out. We've put out Final Fantasy cover, Final Fantasy 7, and a couple other things. On Curly's channel, Jessica and I are in a like Persona 5 cover that he did. Yeah, it's fun.
Is there anything
I
else
didn't
you
know
guys
about the Final Fantasy one. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh,
I
yeah,
bought
look
a PS5 just so I could play the Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Have you done it?
I still haven't beat it.
No. The funny thing about that one, if you go to the comp that's on, I think it's with Game Grooves, the theme, the Final Fantasy 7 theme, is named different things depending on which soundtrack you're looking at. And we signed up with one name of that song, not realizing somebody had already signed up to do it. They just put it down as a different name. So two of us mistakenly like recorded the same cover of the same song and then turned it in at the same time when the guy organizing the comp realized. And I think he just made him like the first and last song of the comp, maybe. It's like, yeah, it's too late. It's done.
Yeah, it's like the greatest RPG ever made.
Oh, seriously.
before we close up here, is there anything else you guys want to plug or anything else you want our audience to know about?
No, I think for us, just yeah, pre-sale tickets help bands because yeah, people look at that, and especially if you start getting promoters and like booking people involved, it's real important for that. So if you're gonna see a band, buy a pre-sale ticket, and I think that's all I got. And follow us in case we release something this year.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Oh,
We'll know if you made it to the end of this podcast if you message something about that or mention something about that.
there. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on, and just a reminder, you are listening to Ska Gazine. So, if you would follow us on social media also, and like us on all those media and socials, it helps us a lot too. And
YouTube. We want YouTube followers.
oh, okay.
And remember, if you want to have a scene, you gotta be the scene.
That's it.
All right.
Show
Well,
up, buy
thank you,
merch,
everybody.
buy the records.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
This old argument, this same old fatigue. I've been stumbling, wishing my way through these weeks. This old apartment, this same same old belief. I've been hoping and wishing you well. I'm feeding you patience while you feed me lies. Tomorrow's a yesterday talk. We're long in the tooth, but we're short in our call. Just one more hour, then just one more week. Silence so loud that I can't get to sleep. Train rattles the bed and it rattles my brain. My intentions are pure, but I feel so deranged. We're all moving underground, and nobody turns around. We're all moving underground, and nobody turns around. Feet on the ground and I'm feeling you shit. I repeat, I repeat, I repeat. So sing yourself for the floor with our backs on the wall. We know nothing with nothing to complain. Feet on the ground and I'm feeling you shit. I repeat, I repeat, I repeat. So sing yourself for the floor with our backs on the wall. We know nothing with nothing to complain.
Tethered to your precious grains of sand, pleading with a motionless heart, beating seamlessly, if only going through motions of blood, feeding endlessly. These parts were forced to play. A character just open up.